Hello and welcome back to MD to RN. This is video number 8. I can't believe we made it to video number 8. And if you're not familiar, if you haven't watched my other videos, MD to RN is a play on the name Melissa Del Beato, MD to RN. So it's just kind of a cute little thing. And the reason I created these videos are not necessarily to just help people, but they are more a journal for myself. However, I felt like maybe I could share these journals. Maybe somebody could get some information from them that they find helpful. So that's why I'm choosing to share this information with the public. So let's get started. I think you guys all want to know, how did the classes go? So if you remember, the Valencia full-time program for nursing is now only 3 semesters. Part-time is 5. I started my first semester full-time. Then in the second semester, I dropped down to part-time, which means I will only have a total of 4 semesters. This past semester in summer, because it's now over as of today, this is my 3rd semester out of 4. So next semester will be my last semester, and I'm very excited. So how did the classes go? How was it? Was it more organized? I'm sure you want to know all of these things. And some of the answers are that yes, it was a bit more organized. I attribute that to the teachers, not the program itself, although I do believe some kinks have been starting to get worked out with this new program. It's called a CBC program, whereas the old program, I don't exactly know what they call it, to be honest, but the new one's referred to as the CBC program. So anyway, so it was a bit more organized, but still kind of frantic like usual. And this is the first semester where I feel like I actually thought to myself, oh wow, I'm going to be a nurse. I mean, I knew when you're in nursing school, you know that's what you're going to school for, but this is the first semester where I thought, this is happening. This is going to be real. And we did, and part of the reason is that we really dug in a little bit more to clinicals. Although I've heard other schools have many more clinicals than we have had, and some have many less. I think this is the first semester we've had as many as we've had. And so, just to recap, the classes I took this semester of 2022 were Adult Health 1, which is like Med-Surg, and Pediatrics. Those are the 2 classes I took at Valencia, and I also took 1 class at UCF called Dimensions of Professional Nursing. So let's start with the UCF class, because it's easiest. That class, I enjoyed it a lot. There was a lot of heavy writing in that class, like APA format and discussion board posts. It wasn't hard. It was kind of busy work that took extra time. Of course, it is a class, you're getting credit for it, so that is expected somewhat. That's all I have to say. I enjoyed that class. I got an A in it. I've heard many others usually get an A in it too. So if that gives you any, takes away a little bit of nerves for you, there's that. Let's move on to the Valencia classes. Adult Health 1, that is really like the meat of your class. It's very important. Adult Health 1 is Med-Surg, and if you're not familiar, Med-Surg is kind of like, they have these floors at the hospital where you go if you need to be admitted, you're not sick enough for critical care, but you still need to be in the hospital, they will send you to Med-Surg if you're stable. So this is where you're going to learn pretty much everything, like about how to take care of almost anybody at the hospital. You'll learn about perfusion, gas exchange, topics like that. So this is a very important class. I, however, was not extremely excited about it. Thinking about working in Med-Surg is not something that is appealing to me or was appealing to me. However, I did find this class very interesting. It was challenging, it was difficult, although I enjoyed the fact that this semester we had 5 Adult Health 1 clinicals, which is a lot more than previous semesters. So we had that, and moving on to Pediatrics class, the class was only half a semester. It was very fast, very quick, and we only had 2 clinicals for pediatrics this semester. However, I was not able to go to one of my clinicals. So there's a couple things that happened with my pediatric clinicals, and the first thing was that my clinical teacher, which is not your class teacher, they're separate. Normally they're separate. Sometimes it's the same, but mine was separate, and she believed that she was taking the students to clinical on Tuesdays. However, we signed up for Wednesdays, and our teacher confirmed Wednesdays with us. So some of the students were able to still attend with the teacher on Tuesdays. However, my schedule was too busy and I was not able to attend on Tuesdays. So I was able to join another clinical on Wednesday, which I heard does not always happen. So I was thankful for that. The second week of clinicals, however, we knew before we went to the first clinical that our teacher was not going to be available to go on, I guess, a Tuesday for the clinical. So that was a bit of a bummer. We had to do an online clinical experience for the second pediatric day. I was bummed because I love pediatrics and I was very excited to be there. One other thing to note, just from my journal, just for people to know, I didn't feel, not just me personally, but my classmates didn't feel especially welcome at pediatric clinicals. I'm not sure why. It just wasn't, it didn't feel like they wanted us to be there. There might have been something else going on, but it made it feel not as happy, not as conducive to learning as it could have been. So those are some things that were major bummers, mainly missing out on the second clinical day. That was sad for me. So the next thing I guess I can talk about is grades, because I finally finished my final for all my classes today. And so in my UCF class, I got an A. In pediatrics, I got a B. And in adult health 1, I got a C. Of course, I'm not happy about having a C, but I know I was, I think, very close to getting a B, which, as I've been over in previous videos, the nursing school grading schedule is not the same as normal undergraduate classes. It goes a 77 to an 84 is a C, and an 85 to 91 is a B, and a 92 to 100 is an A. So I got a C, and I think I ended with an 83 or 4, so very close to that 85B, but just not quite there. That's okay. Sometimes that happens and you just have to make the best of it. So anyway, I like to be open, and this is my journal too, so that's what I like to make note of. Continuing on, our final exams, our benchmarks were difficult, of course, as they always are, but the benchmarks, they were kind of demeaning. For pediatrics, we took our benchmark at the beginning of class, whereas normally we're used to taking them at the end of class. And the teacher said the reason that we're actually supposed to have them at the beginning, because the teacher wants to gauge what we already know and what we might need to work on, like critical thinking. Because after you take those benchmarks, it puts into categories like how the class as a whole did compared to the national average. So she believes that those should be done at the beginning of class. So we did hers the first day of class, which was very scary. However, the whole class as a whole, we fit right into the national average, which, by the way, is normally, from what I've seen, about a 46%. That sounds crazy low, but these benchmarks aren't necessarily all things you have learned yet. They're gauging if you can use the information you've already learned to answer the question properly or correctly. So they really kind of make you feel a little bit stupid, but they're there for a reason. I'm glad that Valencia has now noticed that. So they would usually just give us a grade. Let's say that the benchmark was worth 70 points. They would grade us just depending on how many questions we missed, just like a normal exam. However, that's not really fair, because we do meet the national average at 46% most of the time, And so the grading scale should be adjusted because it's really not a fair exam to begin with, to grade it just like other exams. I'm not sure if that makes sense, and I'm sorry, I can't explain that better, but it's not as if you already learned the information in class. This is like, let's see what you might know. And so it's not really fair to use the same grading scale. So they have fixed that, but that was only at the end of class that they have decided to help adjust that so we don't lose all our points, because these benchmark, any points in any of the nursing classes, they're all very important. As I've said before, every single assignment, even if it seems like it's small points, you're going to get to the end and you're going to have your class and you're going to be almost to the next grade, but you couldn't quite make it, and they will not budge on that. They will not roll your grade up to the higher grade. And same for people who have failed just by like half a point. They will not adjust the grade just so you could pass. I've had many people tell me that they have failed because of that, and that is sad. But anyway, so that's the strict grading scale. And what I guess I could talk about next semester, what I know. So even though I'm part-time, the classes that we have my last semester are the same class load, same classes that full-time has. So the last semester for the two, part-time and full-time, they're always the same class loads. So the classes we'll have are basically, I forget the correct title of this class, but it's like Professional Concepts of Nursing. It's really like Intro to Nursing 2. So there's that class. Then there's Transition to Professional Nursing, which is more, it's not really a class, it's like your practicum. It's not like your practicum, it is your practicum. And then the third class is Adult Health 2, which I've already explained. 1 and 2 is just a deeper dive into the med-surg type, realm. So those are the classes next semester. We've already gotten many emails from our teachers, even though the classes haven't started and we aren't officially on break yet. One of them was to sign up for our graduation. They said we needed to sign up early in the semester, next semester, so fall, for graduation. And obviously there's a certain deadline and things like that. Another announcement was that we will have a dosage exam. I believe there's 25 questions on it, and I believe that we have to have either a 92 or 94%, which I think means we can only miss 2 questions on it. You can retake it. I think you can retake it up to 3 times, so 2 times after the first one. But if you fail the first time, I've heard that there's a pretty lengthy remediation process. It's not just simply writing a paper saying I'll do better next time. I think you would have to sit down with the teacher, is what I've been told, for a couple hours and talk about remediation for that, because dosage is so important to the nursing field. You can't go around giving people the wrong dosage of things. So that is something I know. I also know that Intro 2 class has virtual clinicals. Although they're virtual, they will take place on a certain day of the week. So it's not like it's completely open and free. You can do it whenever you want. And they will also have live video debriefings after you do the clinical that day. So let's say it's a Monday clinical, which I believe it will be, virtual clinical. So you'll debrief. You'll take the clinical, I don't know what, sometime during the day. I'm not sure if there's going to be a specific time or if you can just do it whenever that day. But they've told us at 7 p.m. we will have a debriefing that I think they said will last an hour, maybe 2, I don't remember. And then, so that's it for the Intro 2 class that I can remember. We're going to have pictures, composite pictures taken. Adult Health 2, we haven't gotten the syllabus yet, and I haven't heard a whole lot, but I do know, because I signed up, is that we're having our actual on-site clinical on Tuesdays. So Mondays we have a virtual one for the Intro 2 class. Tuesdays we'll have the real on-site clinical for Adult Health 2 class. I think Wednesday's free. ish. Thursday, we will have lecture for, I, I think it's lecture for adult health 2, and it's from 11:30 to, I don't know. Let's just say 2:30. I think it's something like that. So there's that, and then there's on Fridays we will have a lot of things. Not every week, but we'll have a lot of things on Fridays, such as IV checkoffs and other kinds of checkoffs and things like that. That is really what I know about next semester. One other thing is I also know that we're going to have 11 practicum days, and those practicum days will come at the end of the semester, and we will have from like kind of mid-ish October until the first or second week of December to complete those 11 practicums. They told us we can pick our top 2 choice hospitals off a list that they had pre-designed, and that we may or may not get that hospital, and they will try their best to put us in our top choice. But for example, Winnie Palmer is always a very, hot topic, hot hospital that a lot of people want to go to. However, there's not really enough preceptors to handle the influx of students that want to go. So not everyone basically will get to go to Winnie Palmer. And I believe Arnold Palmer is another popular one. And then of course, those are the 2 I would love to go to. We'll see what I get. I did put a third option. They did not ask for a third option. They might not even recognize my third option, but my third option is South Lake Hospital, just because it is close to me. So it's Orlando Health, South Lake. Okay, so that's all I know. I was hoping that I would have less practicum, not because I don't want to practice. It's totally important, but it's hard when you're working to fit that in, which is my next topic. So currently, I think I told in the last video, I do not work at Disney anymore. I am working at Orlando Health as a student nurse intern. I did get the promotion of student nurse intern. I just asked them, I said I didn't see it on the website when I applied, but I am a nursing student, and that is something I'm interested in doing. You're able to do a few more tasks, such as suctioning trach tubes, and I think you can do trach care too, other than suctioning, like cleaning and stuff. But and there's a couple other things too. I don't remember everything, but I believe that will feed right into the nursing profession. We will have to do that one day, so I think it's good to learn it now if I can. So that's where I work now, and I stressed it in other videos, but I would like to say it again. Not everybody watches every video of mine. They don't have to. They shouldn't. It's not necessary. These are just my journals anyway. But if you are listening and you are interested in nursing school, I highly, highly, highly recommend working at a hospital as a nursing assistant. Anybody can get hired as a nursing assistant. You just have to obtain, I think, within a month, or they have a certain criteria, your BLS certification, which is your basic life support CPR, in other words, certification. So you have to have that, but otherwise you don't really have to have any skills to be a nursing assistant, to get hired as one. So I recommend you do that. And the reason I tell you that before you start school, or even during your first semester if you didn't start before, is that it's very difficult. We all know nursing is stressful. We hear it all the time from other people. Actually doing the work, and the pay is pretty low for a nursing assistant. They do not get paid well like nurses do, and for good reason. They're not licensed, etc. But the pay is not as competitive as even like Walmart or Target or places like that. I mean, it doesn't even reach the minimum. So another thing to note is, like I had mentioned before, it's very hard work. It's very strenuous on your body. And although I expected this, I seen it when I was a sitter. Actually doing the job, it brings a whole new light, whole new perspective to what I had known before about how hard they worked. Now I'm actually feeling physically and mentally how hard they are worked. I do like my department. My people are very nice in it. I've learned so much more. I would say I've learned more at work than I did at school. So this is why I highly recommend. I recommend it. The reason as well, another reason as well, is because it really is going to tell you if you really want to go into nursing or not. It's not like I want to scare people away or hope that that happens, but it was better than going through the whole schooling and then getting shocked at the end that I didn't know it was like this. And it's so much to take on when you're a new RN, you're orienting. It's a lot. If you don't even really know how to work a vital machine, if you're like flopping with the cords all over, you're like trying to figure out how to get the cuff on the patient's arm. Because I was like that at one time. But having this job at the hospital has helped me feel more confident, and I'm able to pretty easily do vitals. There's no issues, no major issues at all. So the more you do it, the more comfortable you are. That sounds silly. That sounds simple. Like, oh, I can do vitals. It's so easy. But something happens when you get in front of a patient. Sometimes you feel nervous, and the machine isn't like the other machine you used in clinical or something. It's just all different. And so you know, doing that every day is going to make you, I think it's going to make you feel more confident. Plus, you'll know how to get supplies, where certain supplies are located. Those supply rooms, they can be a maze. They can be so confusing. There's like so many little like slots, like rows and rows and rows of them, and like little things here, little things there. And it's, you know, if you work at a hospital, of course, all supply rooms are going to be probably set up a little different, but at least you're used to knowing what normally is next to certain things, or maybe little tricks you can learn. Another reason is if that you plan to work at the hospital, you're, you know, as an RN at the hospital you're currently maybe a nursing assistant at. Obviously that's going to help you. You're going to know the format, the layout of the hospital. You're going to know some of the people there. You're going to feel more comfortable. You're going to walk in like, hey Sarah, hey Bob, you know. It's going to make you feel good. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that, but I don't think that's stress enough from people. Maybe they haven't done it themselves. I don't know very many people. There are some that have worked in the field or, you know, started while they were in school. Of course, they have part-time positions, but that's only 2 days a week, 2 12-hour shifts. But I think it's something that really, it should be required. I believe it should be required, because I can see that there's definitely several people who probably are like, nah, peace out, this isn't for me type feeling too. So the next thing I want to talk about is some people asked about supplies. I did have a supply video. It's pretty old. It's from last year. It's before I started, when I first started, and I just wanted to, like, you know, touch base on that and like what was actually helpful. So in that supply video, the first thing I want to talk about is there was a gray shoulder bag, like a messenger bag is what it's technically called. I do not recommend that. It was hard to carry. I was always like with my books. They didn't sit in the bag right. They kept falling over. Get a regular backpack. Do not get the messenger bag. Unless you have like a little wheels on it and you want to like roll it everywhere, but I don't like rolling it everywhere. So I would recommend a backpack. So the next thing I would recommend, sorry, my chair's squeaky, stethoscope. We've talked about this before. This was, you know, gifted to me, which thank you so much for gifting me this stethoscope again. You're going to need a wristwatch with a second hand. At Valencia, they require you to have a watch with a second hand. That means the hand that moves around, you know, old-fashioned, not the digital kind that say the numbers 1, 2, you know. So you're going to need one of those, and mostly it's because when you take blood pressure or listen for pulses, you want to be able to see that second hand going around. We all know that the digital watches can show that second hand, but Valencia requires, as of now, they require that the other manual watch. So another thing I take to clinical all the time, they'll come in your lab kits, but these are little alcohol swabs. So they have these at the hospital, of course, but since you're bringing your own supply, like you're bringing your own stethoscope, and maybe you're going to assess somebody for practice, you don't want to use the hospital supply. If you don't have to, you're not going to want to use the hospital supplies. You're going to bring your own. So I use alcohol prep pads. Always have a writing pen. Just this could be any writing pen. That's just the one I have. And to go with that writing pen, this little tiny notebook. It could go on the side or it can be bound on the top. Just get this little type of notebook, because you can write little notes on it and you can easily put it in your pocket. It'll fit in all pockets. Of course, this is, I forget the technical name of this for some reason. This is the, pen light. This is the pen light. I got it. It's okay. It's okay. All my brain cells are gone from school. But yeah, this is the pen light. You know, it's used to look people's eyes. Of course, don't shine it directly into their eyes. Always come from the side and below, you know, to look into the eyes. And always bring to clinicals your trauma shears, and that's so you can cut. If you're helping to administer medicine, this is so you can help cut. You might not need this your first semester or second, but when you start going to med-surg clinicals, you're going to want to have these with you. Some of those pill packets, little blister packets, are hard to cut into. And this was very helpful. I didn't get this till med-surg clinical either, so I didn't have this the whole time, but this is a tiny little foldable clipboard. As you can see, I have some notes written down here. Very sloppy notes, but some notes written here. I don't like folding papers, so I kind of don't like this, but I do like it being so foldable that you can just stick this. It is pretty kind of big for a pocket, but usually your scrub pants have a big pocket on it. You just stick it right in. You don't have to hold it, or you can put it under your arm. But I have a big clipboard. I will not take that to clinical. It's like, you know, big. It's annoying actually to take to clinical. So let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. No, I think that's it. I've inundated you with so much information. I've inundated my journal with so much information. I want to say congratulations to everybody who's gotten accepted to nursing school, whether that be in Valencia or UCF or Seminole or any of the schools. Congratulations. Nursing school is the most difficult and rigorous school I've ever been to. And I have a master's degree and bachelor's degree already. So this has been an extreme challenge for me. It's been difficult to continue to work more than full-time while in school, even part-time. And also, I think I did not mention this, but next semester seems to be like the schedule will be pretty intense, especially when it comes to the end of the semester where we have practicums in October. So I might need to, I've already prepared by not having one of my clients, and so it's helped me, you know, not have to be as stressed while I'm at school, like wondering, you know, do they need help or whatnot. So I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have any clients anymore. And then I just work at the hospital part-time, 2 nights a week. I do not like overnight shifts. They are very hard on my body and my mind. I didn't know it would affect me this way, but I'll make it through my shift, my 12-hour shift, just fine overnight, which is, let me tell you what the overnight shift is if you're not aware. Overnight shift starts at 6:45 p.m. and it goes until 7:15 a.m., which a lot of times it will go over that time if you're waiting to hand off your report to somebody else. So I make it through my shift just fine. I'm not super tired. You're always busy. I think most of the time maybe for a total of my 12-hour shift, maybe I get to sit down for a cumulative 30 minutes, maybe. So you're always going. So that's good. You stay awake. But when you're done with your shift, if you're not able to go home right away and sleep, like I used to, you know, have clients I worked for, and it was very difficult. I would have a hard time. My body would, it kind of feels like you have the flu, like your body hurts all over. And that would not go away for like a day and a half after my shift. So after that 7:15 in the morning, it would last through that day and through most of that next day. So it also causes a lot of depression in me, like it triggers it or something. And that's kind of a weird thing too, because I'm not like unhappy with the shift per se, so it's not really like related. It's like uncontrollable kind of. So I don't think night shifts are best for me, but I'm gonna stick with them for now until I just feel that I can't do them anymore, and then I might ask if I could switch to a daytime shift if it's feasible for me. And with all my school, it's going to be a little bit difficult with school, but we'll see. So anyway, I forgot to mention that, and I just wanted to let you guys know not everybody reacts the same. Some people are able to handle night shifts. They're always usually difficult for most people, but not everybody feels as strongly like that as I do. So you may not. You may have just a fine time, nothing wrong. But anyway, wanted to note that. And I looked at my list of what I wanted to talk about. I don't believe there's anything else. Continue to make comments, ask me questions. I'll help when I can. School's going to start again August 22nd. Next week, I'm going to help through my nursing association at Valencia. I'm the president of it, so we're going to help with the summer graduation pinning ceremony. And if you're not aware of what pinning ceremony is, it's the ceremony for nursing students only. And Valencia only holds regular graduation, cap and gown graduation, once a year. So instead of like waiting, you still could have a regular. For instance, we'll graduate in fall, and if we wanted to go to a cap and gown graduation, we'd have to wait till next May in 2023, which is crazy. I don't like that at all. I think it's not fair, but they only have the resources to do it once a year, I've been told. Anyway, so pinning happens every semester, so at least you get to kind of walk across the stage. You just wear your white clinical scrub top and black pants, but you get to wear your cords and your stoles, anything you have. And if you're part of the nursing association, you get an extra cord that they put on you and recognize you during the ceremony. It's really cool. I actually prefer pinning just because it's smaller. I don't really like big flashy, celebrations or whatever. I like little smaller ones. So anyway, I'm going to help with the summer pinning ceremony, and the nursing association is going to put together flowers so that the parents or family members, friends can buy the flowers and give to the graduates. And we're going to sell t-shirts if the graduates want them. And we're also going to help usher people, wherever they need to be. And yeah, that's it. I wanted to say a little special shout out at the end here to all of the new friends I've met in my new part-time cohort. Well, these people aren't part-time, but I've met them because I'm now part-time. So my cohort's changed. My old cohort that I started with is graduating this summer. So that'll be good to see them graduate. I'm excited. But I want to give a shout out to my new friends. And some of them are Brianna and Hasty and Orlando and Steven. We all had clinical together at Advent Health Winter Park. And it was a great experience. They're really wonderful people. And also to my friends who've been my friends throughout the whole program, Emily and Brittany and Ramiro. And yeah, they're just the best. So just wanted to give a special shout out to my friends and have it in my journal. And yeah, anyway, like I said, I was trying to wrap this up before. Hope you guys all have a wonderful summer. Try to enjoy yourselves, try to relax. Ask me any questions you have, and I will try to answer them. Hope you have a good summer. Bye.